You could say it was a tale of the final 2.5 minutes for the Ottawa Redblacks in this comeback victory, Duane, but really a tale of two halves. Dustin Crum, first ever CFL start, and that first half was a struggle. Things really improved for him in that offense in the second half.
Yeah, they really did, but you look at the first half of this football game, you're dealing with a whole lot of Willie Jefferson and Adam Bighill doing their thing. Dustin Crum was under siege, completing under 50% of his passes. Ottawa under 20 net yards in the first half of this football game. They just couldn't get anything going offensively. A massive struggle for them. You see the DeMario Houston interception as part of that. But how about the second half turnaround? These guys, talk about a team overcoming adversity and sticking with it. And it went right down to the wire. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left. It starts with Brandon Dandridge pulling them within 8 following the new two-point convert by Nate Behar, that pick 6. And then Dustin Crum, the last play of regulation time, runs it in and has to fight through defenders to get to the end zone, but gets it done. Follows that up, finding Behar for 2 points. That ties the game, sends it to overtime. So coming back from down 16 with 2:40 left, and then here we are in OT. Dustin Crum, who ended up 9 rushing yards in the first half, finishes with over 100 in the game, none bigger than that game-winning touchdown run in overtime. Absolutely massive, Rod.
Ultimately decided, Duane, by the legs, the running of Dustin Crum, but he completed some big passes along the way, including, you talked about Nate Behar in the game he had, and here he is now with Matthew Shinetti.
Nate, it's almost, I'm speechless. What happened, though? I was asking Dustin this. You had a meeting with the receivers before that game-tying drive. You guys were down 16. In that moment, knowing you had an opportunity to tie it, what did you tell your teammates?
Nothing crazy. Just we went over a couple hand signals to catch your breath every single play. This place is going to be loud. Just lock in. Next play. Next play. That's all. I can just put one foot in front of the other.
And on that game-tying drive, when your number was called, you certainly made yourself available. Take us through some of those plays.
First one's nice and easy. Check down. Dusty got it. We got maybe a lucky call that I was out of bounds. Next one, they're bailing. You got Jalen inside of you. Corner's worried about him, so he's getting out of there. Just slam the brakes. Nice, easy pitch and catch. And then, that one on the far sideline, a back shoulder go ball to Z. That's something else from Dustin Crum. Honestly, that's a big boy throw.
What did you learn about your new starting quarterback?
I think what we already kind of knew. I want to make sure I don't cuss here, but he's a dude.
No one would get upset at you, Nate, if you did.
He's got some stones, that's for sure. He's got that attitude of nothing's too big for me. He has absolute confidence in himself, and that permeates. You feel that in the huddle. No matter what the score was, no matter what down and distance it was, you could feel that almost cockiness come off of him, and there is nothing better to feel from a quarterback.
What do you feel about this game, knowing that even when you're down 16, the game is never over?
When you have, I might go out and say it, one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the CFL, you just got to stick with it as an offense. You know what I mean? We know what they're capable of doing. They're going to keep holding guys. They stopped one of the best offenses here, held them to, some pretty low numbers, especially when we think about field position and where we're giving them the ball sometimes. So they did a great job. You just got to stick with it on offense. And a couple things shook right for us. Dustin made some incredible plays. We got B-Dan, number 37. He just picks a team to do something crazy on every week, whether it's specials or defense. And today was defense. So it all came together.
Go enjoy this, Nate.
Thank you, sir.
And to think that a week ago in Hamilton, Duane, Dustin Crum would come off the bench for Jeremiah Masoli, was so close to leading them in the final play of regulation to overtime, or a chance at the two-point convert to tie it. Didn't work out then. It did this time. But what Crum showed in the second half, it wasn't just the legs, but it was his passing ability too. Yeah, it really was. And you have to be impressed. And we were impressed with Dustin Crum in his first action against Hamilton last week. Tough situation he was thrown in. And he gave his team a chance to win. It came down to this exact situation, down to the last play, trailing by 8, and he's trying to get into the end zone. It comes down to his legs. Against Hamilton, he got stopped. This time, he finds a way to get it done and gets in there, both, with his arm moving his team down the field, but ultimately using his legs to make plays. The hero for the Ottawa Redblacks in his first CFL start, Dustin Crum with Matthew.
Dustin, you worked some magic at Kent State. You were on the bench in your college days, and then they called you in, and you had success in college.
Yes, sir.
You've won now in your second game, essentially. But in that moment, when you were running and you saw the path open up, not just on the game-winning touchdown,
yes, sir,
but also to tie the game, what did you feel?
Excitement, honestly, in that moment. I knew I had a chance. I had one-on-one, two-way go in the open field and just tried to finish. As a quarterback who likes to be able to use his feet, I feel like whenever you get in the open field, kind of sliding is kind of not my go-to, but in that moment, just trying to finish for our team, get a W. Defense played their butts off, the O-line fought their butts off. The receivers did a great job for me, and just tried to finish it for them there.
I saw you and Nate Behar have a conversation before that final game-tying drive. What did you tell each other?
We're just fired up. I mean, Nate's a competitor. I'm a competitor. I mean, every guy in that sideline is a competitor, and we were just fighting to the last whistle and trying to get the win for the crowd.
What are you learning about the CFL game? Down 16, you're never out of it, especially in the last 3 minutes.
Never out at any point, especially when you got a bunch of guys, like I said, that compete to the very end. Coaching staff that's going to keep fighting for us. We just kept battling, and defense made a great opportune play there to get us back in the game, get some momentum, and guys were able to capitalize off it.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And to think that Dustin Crum had 20 yards passing in the first half, he ended up with 261. Impressive indeed. You know, there's a saying, a win is a win, but sometimes that is simply not true. So huge for the Redblacks, who now won back-to-back games here at TD Place after almost going 2 years without a home victory.